Friends who saw my social media posts on chicken stir fry requested that I make a video showing you what my method is. Patterned mostly against the kind of Chinese restaurant food we were eating in the early to mid 90s, I have put this method together by borrowing or stealing practices and ingredients and techniques that I've seen in other people's videos and cookbooks, making small changes until I achieved something that I really enjoyed, my family enjoyed, and I could make on a weeknight. That's what I'm going to share with you in this video. Let's get started. It's a weeknight, so we're going to use some chicken that I pulled out of the freezer, about 2 to 3 pounds. I'll thaw it in the microwave. On a weeknight, you just do what you got to do. You're going to want to serve this with rice. Cooking rice isn't difficult, but I'm telling you, if you don't already have a rice cooker and rice is something you eat more than maybe once a week, I suggest you invest in one of those. It saves you a lot of time. Don't think about it. Put the rice in the rice cooker, let it do its thing. Okay, don't at me about my knife skills, but I'm going to show you how I slice chicken against the grain and to very thin pieces. So very thin chicken is a really good way to achieve more flavor because you've got more surface area of the chicken, but also more thoroughly cooked chicken in a shorter amount of time. So the first thing I do is I cut one of these breasts into 3 pieces, turn it 90 degrees, and then slice against the grain. And as you can see, I'm slicing pretty thin pieces off. I'll give you a closer look at one of them later on, but you're going to want to make these sliced chicken breasts pieces as thin as possible. And turning a deficit into an advantage, if you have mostly thawed but still slightly frozen chicken, it's just easier to slice thinly. This is about what I'm going for. Don't worry if your chicken is a little bit thicker than this. Prior to cooking the chicken, you're going to want to marinate it, and this process flavors the chicken and also tenderizes it. You'll use some baking soda, some cornstarch, some Chinese light soy sauce, and Chinese cooking wine and salt. I like to add a little bit of pepper as well. The amounts will be in the recipe. Now, the same method you're seeing here can be applied to thinly sliced beef as well. Some people have told me that you don't need the baking soda for the chicken the same way you need it for the beef, because the chicken is already tender enough. But I'm going to tell you that when I started putting baking soda in with the chicken for this process, I was much happier with how close the result was to what I would get from the restaurant. Try it both ways and decide for yourself. A great addition here is a small amount of oyster sauce if you have it on hand. Notice that I haven't added a lot of liquid here. That's a really important detail. Excess liquid is going to interfere with the frying process, and also I find that having less liquid helps to concentrate the flavors at the end. This goes into the fridge for at least 15 minutes. While that's marinating, let's talk a little bit about vegetables. What I've got today is some broccoli and some bok choy. That's what I'll be using. Broccoli and bok choy cook relatively similar rates. One thing you are going to have to think a little bit about is how large you want to cut your vegetable pieces into. Smaller pieces will cook faster, larger pieces take longer to cook, and softer vegetables cook faster than hard vegetables. What this means is if you want carrots, you're going to need to cut your carrots really thinly if you're cooking them with other softer vegetables, because carrots are pretty hard. Use whatever vegetables you like and cut them into similar pieces while also being mindful of how hard and soft your vegetables are. In our stir fries, I commonly use broccoli, asparagus, snow peas, bean sprouts, water chestnuts, sliced onions, green onions. It's your choice. Someone at a Chinese market once told me that if you can't get snow peas, that bok choy makes an excellent substitute, and ever since then, I've been including bok choy in my stir fries because for me, it's cheaper and more available. Once the veggies are cut, I mix up a couple of liquids that I use in the stir fry process. First liquid is for steaming the vegetables, and that's essentially a chicken bouillon. I use a Chinese chicken bouillon powder for that, and I mix it up according to the directions on the label. It's a little bit salty, so be careful with it. I mix it up so that I have somewhere between half and 1 cup of liquid. Then I mix up a slurry of cornstarch, soy sauce, and cooking wine that I use as a thickening agent near the end of the stir fry process. It's really important to get a good quality Chinese soy sauce and cooking wine if you want something similar to the restaurant. So if you can't get that at an Asian market near you, look for it online. This mixture is going to be a little bit difficult to keep dissolved. It is going to settle after a few minutes, but give it a good stir at first and stir it again before you use it. Here's my tray of ingredients ready to go outside. I'm cooking outside today. Pause the video if you want to see each mixture. I want to highlight that I've added sesame oil to the marinade off screen and to the thickening slurry, and often I'll add some at the very end, kind of as a garnish. An additional ingredient I haven't mentioned yet, but which you'll see in a second, is this garlic and ginger paste. I buy a jar of it, keep it in the fridge. It's super convenient for stir frying and many other recipes. All right, we're outside now, and I've got the pan hot. You can see that it's smoking. That's a good sign. So the way this works is you're going to cook in 2 phases. First, you cook the meat, then you're going to cook the broccoli and vegetables, and it's going to then you're going to kind of steam those, but you got to get the meat cooked first. I'm going to dump my garlic and ginger mixture on top of my chicken. I don't want it to burn. I want it to hit the heat around the same time as the chicken hits. You'll see why in a second. Put some oil in this. The oil, obviously, it's smoking. This wok is now very hot. Now I'm going to add my chicken. All right, so it's stir fry. So the first thing you do is stir while you're frying. We're going to spread it around on the bottom, because what I want to happen is I want some of this chicken to really get some color. I'm going to let it do that, and what that's going to do is that's going to make up for the fact that I don't have a giant wok with a bunch of hot oil in it that's cooking the outside of the chicken very quickly. All right, this cooktop is very powerful, so I can smell that it's time to toss it. So you can see I'm getting some color on this chicken, which is excellent. That's what you want. Those little kind of semi-charred pieces are going to spread out among the chicken. They're going to break up and spread out, and that's kind of flavor. As I'm stirring, I'm scraping the bottom a little bit to try to get pieces of cooked chicken to not stick. So you can see there's not a lot of liquid on the bottom of this pan at all. And that's partly because the liquid that came out of the chicken combined with the cornstarch and formed a yummy coating on the outside. All right, that's going to continue to cook once I take it off the heat. So I'm going to transfer the chicken now. I'm going to turn the cooktop off first, just so that the bottom of the pan doesn't burn once it doesn't have the chicken on it. It looks pretty good, actually. So once these veggies have a little bit of color on the outside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cover from my wok and I'm going to get ready. And then I'm going to swirl my chicken bouillon, and I'm going to pour that down the sides of the wok and immediately cover this to allow it to steam. I'm going to turn the power down just a little bit because I want that steam to form, but I want it to I don't want it to all evaporate. I want to have time to steam the vegetables. We're going to take a quick peek. What we want to see is bright green. That's a good sign. I'm going to return the chicken to the mixture. Let it continue to cook for just a little bit with the chicken. All right, I'm seeing more steam. I think that's an indication that it's been steamed quite a bit. I want to err on the side of not overcooked. You certainly don't want the broccoli to start to turn a dull green. So now I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. It doesn't need to be as high as it was before in order to solidify the slurry here. We're going to give the slurry one more stir and then pour it in. And then you want to mix it in. And what you're going to see is that it's going to thicken the whole thing, which means that the flavor that's in that broth is going to coat everything. everything. That's what you're looking for. When it appears to be a consistent thickness, you're done. That's it. That's our stir fry. Done. What does it smell like?
Ooh, Chinese restaurant.
It smells like a Chinese restaurant, that's right. That's what I'm smelling too. And that's how I make stir fry right now. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a long time, so thank you to my friends for the encouragement. Remember, you can use any vegetables you like, whatever you've got in the house. It doesn't need to be fancy or difficult. Use whatever protein you like as well. We've eaten a lot of this over the years, and I hope you make it and enjoy it. And if you do, please let me know. If you have any comments, leave them below. Remember to click like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. As long as you remember, you can cook anything.